So first, I'd like to introduce our speakers. So we have Abiodun Gbadamosi. He's a data science intern at Terragon Group. So we know Terragon, quite popular company. And we have Eniola Olaleye, data science intern at Benshi.ai, located in Spain. Okay, you guys, can you, if you can wave or you can acknowledge our audience?
Hi everyone. I'm so excited to see people are turning up from across Nigeria. So welcome, guys. I hope this would be a session that you can look back on, and I mean for it to be a very practical session. So you will definitely have fun here. Welcome.
Yeah, emphasis on fun. Okay, so
quickly,
I'm going to be Eniola. I guess I was hearing any. Okay, yeah.
Don't worry, you can continue.
Okay,
I think you have said it all, so I hope you guys enjoy it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so quickly, I'm going to be giving you guys a brief intro about Eniola and Abiodun. So yeah, Eniola, I'm sorry, Abiodun is a graduate of Electronics and Electrical Engineering from Obafemi Awolowo University, OAU. He majored in Control Systems Engineering, where he gained his first practical exposure to deep learning techniques. So he has worked with artificial and convolutional neural networks and clustering algorithms in electrical, medical, human resources, and marketing industries. Finishing as one of the top finalists in DSN 2021 bootcamp, he landed a data scientist internship with Terragon Group, where he currently works and helped draw actionable insight from data of over 500 million for details and enjoys playing sports, particularly football, video games, listening to music, and cooking. Wow, chef. With the love for and interest in control system engineering, he hopes to work full-time in the industry, in the automation industry, capturing insight from data to program automated systems. Yeah, so you can see Abiodun has a whole lot of interesting things he likes to do. And quickly, let's move on to Eniola. Yeah, Eniola is a machine learning engineer with over 3 years of experience in data science and machine learning. And he has worked as a data scientist at various companies and as a tutor for a bootcamp teaching Python and robotics. He actively participates in data science competitions held by online communities such as Kaggle and Zindi, which allows him to solve real-world problems and expand his skill sets. Yeah, so funny thing about this is I met Eniola through Zindi because, like, bro, this guy is always stopping every leaderboard I open. So I just felt if this guy is always doing this, then I probably get to know him better and be friends with him and stuff like that. So Eniola is a very, very amazing person, and I hope you guys learn a lot from this session. So yeah, I guess that's it. So starting the panel session straight up, and before even going into that, I just like to ask, like, because guys get tired of learning at some point, and they feel like I've been learning and I've been learning for a long time, but there's that point where you feel like you are ready for an internship. I want to ask, just throwing the question out to both of you guys. At what point in your learning path did you figure out I want to apply for internships, or I think I'm ready for internship applications? Did you get my question?
Should we go in like a ordered manner, or anybody can just pop in or something?
Okay. So let me. The question is thrown to both of you, but I'll I'd like Eniola to go first. Yeah.
Okay. So for me, it started this way. I was looking at it that okay, I'm just stuck with learning. Like the learning of a thing looks like a loop. Like you just keep on learning and learning because like actually you can't stop learning. Even when you get a job, you still have to learn on the job. So like there's no like a parameter set for okay, I'm totally ready for a job. So what me I just tell people is once you start learning, just start applying for jobs. Like okay, I started learning today and from tomorrow I'm applying for jobs. Like when you apply for a job, you see like this is what is needed for me to get this job. Then you just tailor your learning towards what you want to get. So okay, let's say I want to like become maybe a NLP engineer. So I just look for NLP jobs and start applying for. And okay, I say, okay, these are the requirements. Then I just tailor my learning towards that point. So yeah, I think
Okay.
that's my 2 cents for that. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I guess Abiodun has some interesting things to say.
Yeah, I mean, Eniola said it all, but I'd just like to add some few things. Um, Learning never ends, and it starts peculiar to the data science field. As we all know, it's constantly evolving, and there's this current syndrome in the community about just getting stuck in a learning loop. Courses will never end, right? So it's not until I've not seen a point where I can say, oh, I can stop learning. So the thing is, if you don't build that confidence to start applying for jobs, then you may never, get to applying to jobs. So one thing that can help you to know when it is time to learn, or one thing that can give you some bit of structure, is first identifying what you want. What kind of internship do you want to apply for? Like he mentioned, if you want to be an NLP engineer, you look at the job requirements, or if you want to get an internship and hope to become a junior data scientist, one thing that can help, since we are all about practicals today, how I think I went about it was I went on LinkedIn and I looked at job descriptions or what just maybe do an average of what the requirements are for a specific role. And then you can save that in maybe your notes or notepad or maybe on your wall or something, and begin to take courses to develop some competence in that area. You do not have to be a master in any of the skills, but once you reach a point where, oh, you can do one or two simple projects or two projects that you can place on your GitHub and or anywhere, that when you're interviewing for those kind of jobs, you can actually point to it. I think that's like a good sign to I think you have you should typically have a good chance of landing an internship. So I've said a lot of things. Just to recap,
Yeah. Yeah.
know what you want and go for it.
Okay. Okay. So knowing what you want to get, meaning what kind of internship do you want, try to figure out what these companies are looking for, the skill set they are looking for, then tailor your learning towards the skill sets. Yeah, summary. Okay, very, very nice response from our guest. And yeah, so following that up, I'd like to ask about give an average of how many applications did you throw out there before before that final eureka moment that you finally getting it. Eniola.
I can't actually count. Like if I go to okay, one thing I do is apart from normal applications, so I just go to LinkedIn and just look for recruiters and just send them like cold mail and the rest. But that was not how I got Benshi. I applied normally. So from those guys, I do send like code me, I'll get response from them and they'll be like, yo, you're not like, you don't have the experience we need. Like you want guys with like 3 years of experience, all those kind of things. So I had a lot of applications which I can't count actually. So I don't know the average except I go to my mail and start
I
shuffling
start,
or
I start
yeah. So
searching.
yeah, I can't say yeah.
Yeah. How about Abiodun?
Yeah, I mean, it's practically the same experience for me as well. I can't actually count. And I mean, there is a point in your maybe application where it's like a full-time job. When you wake up each day and you have not made one application, you're like, oh, I've not done anything for today. One thing I always tell people is that the thing with applications is when you make your first application, it's like, oh my God, my all is going into this. I have to get a reply. I have to get something. But I mean, if it doesn't turn out the way you want and you forge ahead with the next application, it becomes less of a task. I mean, it becomes less tedious. So there is it Hooke's law that talks about elastic constant? There is this elastic limits that you get to
Elastic
where,
limit.
sorry?
Yeah, I said elastic limit.
Yeah, thank you. Where applications won't really hold you back anymore. So until you get to that point, just keep on applying, you know. And talking about breakthroughs, that's to talk about how many applications. I can't really count, but if I was to
Give a
give an
number.
average, I would say maybe 15 or 20, I guess. Maybe I was lazy and I didn't apply to many places, but
Okay.
the thing I led with is know what you want. So I didn't just apply to every single internship opportunity. So my applications were a bit targeted. But one thing that really made the difference and really stood out for me is that in all your applications, try to include a bit of personality. Try to include your own uniqueness. I mean, what makes you unique, right? Because everybody, what really makes you stand out? And that sounds cliche. You hear it a lot in recruitment or maybe job fairs and all, but
Yeah.
try to put a name to the face. If you can get in, if he's getting into seminars or career fairs, for example, the DSN boot camp where maybe recruiters come around. When they come around, put on your video, be ready, take it like a job interview and try to leave an impression on your recruiters. I think that's what would really get you the interviews.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
So what Abiodun said actually it leads us to the next question in the sense that um, for Abiodun, I know very well that the way he landed Terragon was not the conventional apply and all. So I'm going to come to Abiodun and he's going to give us the backstory of how Terragon happened. But then let me go to Eniola, and Eniola's internship used to even what's the word? Permit me to use boss brain because he was able to land somewhere that was not even in Nigeria. So I'd like to just ask Eniola, like, what was the backstory to that application at Benshi? Was it was it going to the application page and submitting your applications? Was it a recruiter reaching out to you? Was it you reaching out to a recruiter? Like, how did Benshi AI happen?
Okay, so I saw Benshi first. I saw everything on Zindy first. Like Zindy has the job portal where you can go to search. I don't know if they still have it, but like the
Yeah, I
last
think
time I
they
checked,
still do. They still do.
okay, they still do, yeah. So I saw it there. Then I applied through Zindy. Then I went to their website straight because I saw the company's name there. Just search. Then I searched for Benshi. Then I saw, okay, this guy have a website. Then I applied directly also to them. Then when I applied, okay, first thing was like the whole like responsibility and their requirements. First of all, they were like, okay, you should be done with school. You should have like 3 years of experience. I'm not done with school. I was in year 4 when I applied. No, year 3, second semester. I was preparing for year 4. So like we do this 6 month internship in year 4. So I was just preparing for that. So I applied then. So what I did was I removed like my everything related to school. So it was just like a proper application. I pretended, let me use that word. So I pretended like I was done with school in my
Yeah.
CV. So I sent my CV like I did not put anything in school. I just put my experience, like all the skills and everything. So they called. When they called, like, okay, no, before they called, they sent a test. So I passed the test, then they called. We had a call. Then from the call, they knew, oh, this guy is still in school. So they were like, oh, what will happen? And so I was like, okay, let's just do this thing as an internship. Like, since I passed the requirement and everything. And they were like, okay. So they were like, how many hours can you put in with your schoolwork? So I told them, okay, let's say 2-3 hours per day. But before then, I said, okay, for my fourth year, I'll be going for 6 months internship. So I'll just like to do it full time with them. And they agreed. So when it was time, they said I should come to Barcelona to just do it. Then I went there, and yeah, that was it.
Oh,
It's not really straightforward, but that was the whole
that was the gist.
yeah, that was the
Okay,
gist
okay.
behind it.
So, and you're allowed to like hide that school part
Mm-hmm.
of things. Yeah, I get it actually works, but then I think one thing one thing the company is going to see is they are going to first see your skill sets first
Yeah.
before they now, okay, let's ask, okay, are you done? Then if your skill is strong enough, or if you've given them enough conviction, then they can just um, ignore your school, and yeah, they can tell you to come around and work with them.
Even the particular one I applied for, they were like, preferably you should have a master's in any
Oh,
of, yeah, because like it was strictly a research kind of job.
um,
Yeah,
oh,
survival models and those kind of stuff. So it was
nice, nice.
just
I think this is just like one of these examples where the people tell you, oh, okay, yeah, I think everyone used to hear it where you'd be like, even if you don't meet
the
100%
requirements. Yeah,
requirement,
just apply.
just apply. You don't know what can come out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this is this is an example, very very good example to that. Um, uh, uh, sorry, let me. Yeah, so coming to Abiodun, how Terragon happened.
Okay. Well, should I say I don't have I mean a very interesting story like
No,
Eniola.
it's quite interesting.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, don't
All
downplay.
right.
Yeah,
So how did getting this into this position happen? Okay, so it all started from it was September. Yes, I think September, where I had been doing some free. I had been at that time. I was still doing some freelance data scientist work on Upwork. So a friend told me about this hackathon. Sorry, this was a hackathon. This boot camp, DSN's boot camp that was really near, and yeah, so it was like a week to the deadline for submission, and then I just like tried to put things together and to get myself on the leaderboard. So I was able to make it to the final of the event. So well, at the event, I met a lot of amazing people, which is why networking is invaluable in this field. And one of the people I met was Dr. Eric Sodomka. I know, a number of people would be familiar with him. So he
yeah,
was gracious enough to review my resume, refine a number of things, and actually tell me what he would look out for and what he feels like I shouldn't include in my um, in my resume. So after that, another highlight of that event for me was I mean, all the seminars, all the sessions were very instructive. But one that really helped me was one I wasn't even supposed to attend in the first place. And that's the session for the ladies aspect. So the reason why I even attended in the first place was I was scared about attendance and not getting the certificate. So I said, let me just attend everything. So I attended that, and at that event, the speaker mentioned something about imposter syndrome. And I think that is one of the biggest challenges we have to overcome, or you have to overcome if you want to get your internship. Because when you get the interview and you are face to face with the interviewer and they sense that you are not confident in your ability, I mean, that already puts you on. That doesn't speak well of you. So she talked about how we belong in this field. And I mean, that's where you really have to know what you are doing. Once your work is good, I mean, you should be confident. So anyway, that really helped me to refine my thinking. And then at the career fair, companies came around. I I I switched on my camera, approached the booth where Terragon, the team lead of Terragon was, and I made my case. We had a mini talk. What does Terragon do? What can I do? And how can I fit into the team? Still singing. Okay. So that was it. And she told me to send an email. So I sent the email. I mean, long stories. I am this, I am that, I can do this, I can change your company, make you better than Google. You know how the normal email goes now. And at the end of it, all I heard was okay, noted or something. And I was a bit disappointed because I thought I didn't really make a mark. So after about a week, I got an email again saying that they'd like to advance me. And then it sent me a technical test and it sent me all the culture fit or whatever. And after that, I had to go to the come to the office. They told me they would like to see me, interview me physically at the office. That's in VI in Lagos. So I went there. I had another live coding session. Not live coding, they just presented my code, my notebook, and they were asking me, oh, why did you concatenate this and this together? What was your reasoning behind using this? So I was able to answer that. And after that, I now met with the CTO. So he had an interview with me, and he had an interview with me, and he was just trying to find out my motivations. So I think a week after that, that was when I got the offer, and yeah, it's been life-changing so far. Did I cover everything?
Yeah. I guess you probably speak more on that for answers on other questions.
Okay.
So yeah, so quite interesting stories from Eni and Abiodun. Eni short is short, even though he wasn't qualified, and Abiodun had to um, first attend the boot camp, then attended some sessions where he even got his resume reviewed by Eric Sodomka, and turned out that before the end of the boot camp, there was a career fair, and the career fair was able to meet with the recruiter, and yeah, that was how everything happened for him. So awesome story. So one thing you guys should just take away from this is um, you things won't come to you. You have to be the one to go for it, because imagine for the career fair, he didn't reach out to anybody, or he wasn't very active, or no one noticed, the recruiter wasn't and didn't notice him, or things like that. I'm sure okay, Terragon may not happen. So quite interesting story. So if you notice the way the talk has been going, I'm asking, I'm building up the conversation up until I'm starting with your application, then going down to say your interview. Abiodun already said quite some things about how his interview went, but yeah. So let's now come to the conversation of how you structured. Should we say, yeah, how you structured your resume, or any resume tips you have for guys on this call? So, because if a recruiter saw your resume and was interested in you, then it shows that there were some things that you did right. So, do you have any resume, any tips for guys on this call for their resumes?
For me,
Yeah.
I would say it was more of the cover letter than the resume for me, because if I check my resume now and then I'll be like, no, Eniola, this is wrong. so
That's
it
very
the, it's the cover letter actually. So there was a way I structured the cover letter. Like I was just like, I've done this for this company, I've done this, I've done that. Like I just like structured it in a way that if you read it, you'll be like, I think I used a format. I went to this, was it Resume Builder? Then I just used a format I found online, then attached it to my CV before sending. So it was more of the cover letter for me before they reached out, yeah, than the
Okay, so
resume.
more of cover letter than resume. So
Mhm.
someone is asking in the comment section if you can, by any chance, share a
Template.
template,
Okay,
or
I'll check for
something
it too.
similar to what you used.
I'll check for it.
Okay. So if any sends it, I'll share with everyone. So Abiodun, any resume tips?
Yeah, like any resume tips. Yes, I have a draft or a template, that I can share, which I shared it at the event, but I would send the file in this chat maybe to you during this session. And one of the things I would say as far as formatting your resume is the golden rule of one page is really important. It's an internship. You are not trying to, except you're applying for a senior,
Senior
sorry?
position.
Exactly. Even at senior position, some companies may say maximum of 2 pages, or you know. So putting your most relevant work is really important. I mean, as important as my final year project was with Dr. Ayodele, I had to, in fact, when there was no space, I had to remove it at some point, and I was really sad. But I mean, you have to put
Something more
uh,
relevant.
yeah, something more relevant. So if you are applying for a data scientist position and you have done some data analyst work, so you generally won't want to lead with your data analyst projects first. So you can maybe put your most relevant data scientist work, or data science work, however it's called. And then after that, just include some other data analyst work. But I mean, most recruiters won't have time to read through all your work. So you should put your best foot forward and try to make it as brief as possible. And then a practical example, you should try to as well. I think the bullet point under each resume, each position should generally follow the structure of what did you do, uh, what were your results, and what were your implications. What were the implications of your results? So as much as possible, try to include that flow. I know it may be a bit difficult, but an example of what I'm saying is, okay, build a clustering algorithm that reduced the rate of employee attrition by 2%. That's something a recruiter would see and be like, oh, okay, so this guy or this lady's work actually has impact, you know. And just try to make it as brief as possible, include the most relevant work, and try to keep it under one page. So I would share the document in the chat. So yeah, that's it from me.
Yeah, all right, all right. So Abiodun will be sharing the document, and Eniola is going to be sharing a template with us on the cover letter. And this actually even makes sense, because my next question was going to be which was more important? Was it the resume or the cover letter, or was it both? Did you send both, or did the company require both? Because some companies don't care about, some companies don't ask for cover letters, and they just want your resume straight up. And yeah, so Abiodun was like, put everything on one page, because if you're looking for internships, then you probably don't, like, if you're looking for internships, then it's not like you've had so many work experience that is going to expand that one page to 2 pages or 3 pages. And also, like, it's an internship, it's not a research position, so you probably just want to keep it one page, so that so that the recruiter can just glance through it, see what he likes, moves on, or go ahead with you. Eniola is raising his hand. I guess he wants to add something.
No, somebody is asking a question. The person said, for Eniola in
Okay.
your letter, you were able to highlight the work you had done for some companies. I'm transitioning to data analysis and I have not done any work. I have only worked on projects. How can I get my foot in the door with no experience?
Okay. So do you have
Should
an answer to that?
I think Abiodun should go first, then I'll just jump into
Okay.
it.
So before Abiodun goes, if I can add something, and I'm going to be using Eniola as an example, because the platform where Eniola was able to see the opportunity was on Zindi. And Zindi is a platform where you do competitions, and you do competitions on real world problems. So it just makes sense that platforms where you can solve real world problems, then you can find data sets there to build projects. And by building projects, you build experience. And on these platforms, you can also get access to opportunities. So if you don't have experience, fine, it's fine for an internship position. But then, okay, someone is asking to share the link for Zindi. I'll drop that now. So if you don't have experience, fine, but you should have projects that can demonstrate that, oh, you know this thing, or you can learn things fast enough, or you have basic knowledge of whatever you're going into an internship for. So yeah, I guess that's what I have to say. I'll be dropping the link now for Mistura. I don't know if Abiodun has any other addition.
Yeah, I wanted to also add that, so one thing that really helped me to get projects, apart from finding a lot of them on YouTube and online, is trying to do some freelance work. So freelancing would help you to have a vast array of projects, and not just all those projects that don't really have real life implications. So projects that will get people interested is things that they can relate to, not some maybe Star Wars projects in some sense. So doing
Not
some
Titanic.
work. Yeah, Titanic, yes, not all those benchmark projects. Doing
Yeah.
some projects like in this area would help you to, one, build up your portfolio, and two, help you to understand what it is that people want. You develop a sense for the kind of problems um, like human beings are looking to solve, and how you can help them to solve that. So while you have not yet gotten any internship or experience, you can explore freelancing to help you with finding projects. Yeah, that's what I'll say.
Yeah, really, really nice addition. So I guess Mistura has an idea of what she can do now to to show that she can apply for internships. Okay, so yeah, moving on, moving on. The first question I asked already covered a lot. Your cover letter, your resume, and all. So moving on to, okay, you have a banger resume, you have a killer cover letter, but then, okay, then you were able to get to the interview phase. So being selected for an interview is one thing, then passing the interview is another thing. So we're going to be focusing on this aspect now. And I think Abiodun was trying to, yeah, the recording will be available, Colade. So Abiodun was already like giving a little bit of insight into how his interview went. So I'll start with Eni. So how was the interview experience? Because from my experience, there's some companies that give you tasks and they give you a timeline to it. Then you submit the task, and if they are satisfied, they call you. But there are some companies that they they have live coding interviews. Yeah, and companies have different ways of doing interviews. So like for Eni, how was yours? The whole interview experience, from the task to the last call you had.
Okay, so for mine, I was given an assessment first. So it was a 7-day modeling task. So I was told to build a model, then do some analysis and the rest. Then after that, I submitted. Then after 2 days, I had a call with them. So they were like, I should go through my solution with them and explain the whole thought process, like why I did what I did. Yeah, so I explained the whole analysis, the part of feature engineering, the part of feature selection, the part of EDA, that's the exploratory data analysis, then the model building part and the rest. So like, okay, let me fast forward because like I helped them a bit in doing a bit of like some interview works, and I saw that like their major focus was actually like the interpretation of your solution. They were not
Okay.
after your solution actually. So what they're after is okay, how you're able to explain what you did, like how you're able to like do a lot of things and just properly explain it. Okay, this is why I did this is why I did that, that kind of thing. So going back to it, then after the interview, after the assessment, I explained to them. Then after that, they were like, they'll get back to me. Then I think after a week, I got on another call with the CEO. Then the CEO was like, the head of research was happy with my work. The head of it's because I had two different interviews, one with the head of research, then one with the head of the data science team. So the CEO was like, okay, the head of research and the data science lead were like happy with my work and they want to take it further. So we had some discussion about like the whole process and the rest, and that was it. So it was just from assessment to interview, then that's all. Then behavioral assessment also, like how can you work with a team, all those kind of questions, just like to see if you can relate with people. So they were like, have I worked with an international team before, a team with diverse kind of people that will like cope with that kind of structure and the rest. Yeah, and after that, that was it. I joined and I started working for them.
Oh, nice. So Eniola talked about the company, not too particular about what you did, but how you can explain your thought process. Um, yeah, and the behavioral part covering your soft skills. So it's not only the technical part that is important, the non-technical part is also important. Your soft skill and your communication skills. Yeah, so I think Abiodun also had a similar experience, but if there's any other addition you want to add, Abiodun.
So okay. Yeah, Eniola said it all. It's basically the same experience for me. And how mine was, it was basically the same experience. So when I was called, when I had the live interview, the physical interview, there were questions around feature engineering, how did I, training methods, why did I do this? It wasn't really about, okay, explain what eigenvectors are and how your model weight to be skewed, or why using cross-validation. Yeah, why using cross-validation is the kind of questions that you will be getting. You won't be getting, okay, so what is cross-validation? What determines the K? What determines the number of folds? Now, you won't get all those in deep, depending on the kind of role you are applying to. If you're applying to a research kind of role, you might get those questions. But I didn't get those questions because it's basically working in the industry and it's not really a research position. So after I was able to explain my reasoning and why I did what I did, there was the culture fit. Sorry, can you hear me?
Okay, yeah. It was breaking for a while, but then you can hear you clearly now.
Oh, okay. So there was a culture fit assessment. They just want to know how you work with others, how you, maybe just their core values and other things. What I would also add is that in terms of weight, please do not prioritize your technical skills over your soft skills. Soft skills are really, 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 really important. I can't overemphasize it.
Overemphasize.
Yes, because you are trying to move from a position where you are working with yourself, you are in your bedroom, you're at your workstation, you are building alone. But now what they're going to be looking for is how well you can work with others. And if they see any red flags that, oh, this one doesn't like working with people, he doesn't like carrying others along, he's not a cooperative person, they most likely, even though, you might have the best technical ability, the chances that they will take a compromise might be really slim. So you want to put your best foot forward, you want to be technically sound, and you want to be human as well. Just, yes, pay attention to that soft side
All
because
right.
that's really important.
All right, nice. So both technical and non-technical, very, very important. Yeah. So I guess we are done with the interview phase, done with the application, the interview. Then moving on to the offer. Yeah. So okay, I see questions already, but then I'm going to just hold on to we are very, very close to asking our questions. Yeah. Okay. So my question now is, moving on to the offer and perks. So what was it like? Was it the company having something for you already, saying, okay, this is how much we are going to give you, and this is how much we pay our interns, or you had the flexibility of, say, negotiating? So Eniola.
For me, I had the flexibility of actually negotiating. Yeah. So we negotiated. So
Okay. How about Abiodun?
Yeah, for me, it's not, there wasn't much I could do in the way of negotiation because like I'm done with school and they were really looking to move me into like a full-time position. So the internship is just like for a period of 3 months. It's 3 months. It's not really too long. So there's like, okay, we will offer to give you this for this period. and then after you'd have the flexibility of negotiating a proper offer.
Okay,
Does that make
for a
sense?
full-time role.
Yeah, exactly, for a full-time.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. Okay, so if you perform well enough, you can land a full-time role. Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, aside, I think this is the interesting part, and maybe guys want to hear. Aside like the money, was there like any other additional perks that you feel like, whoa, very, very nice addition to my to my salary? Any who wants to go first?
Addition, sorry, I
No.
missed.
I don't mean like monetary. I mean like aside the your salary or compensation, was it like any other perks that you enjoyed that you that seemed very interesting? Say, oh, this
Okay,
company gave me a
okay.
work.
For me,
And
yeah, they
yeah.
gave me a work system actually, and apart from that, like they are they're like anytime you are ready, you can come over to Barcelona, which is where the company is located, to just work from there. Or if you want to work from your house, work from home.
Oh, so they sponsored your whole trip
Yeah,
to
they
and
did.
fro.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. Nice. So yeah, is there any other will Abiodun like to add?
Yeah, apart from all what Eniola has said, uh, you get to meet professionals. The network aspect is really amazing. There are a lot of opportunities that actually open up for you in terms of networking and in terms of practice. You'd not the level of exposure to tools that are the industry standard is immense because you actually have hands-on application, hands-on experience with deploying models in, for example, AWS, using SageMaker instances to build your models, which may not really be possible or may not be affordable if you are
Yeah,
working.
if you're learning on your own.
Exactly. So you work with big big tools and relevant tools, and that in itself adds value to you and makes you more valuable for future positions you might choose to apply for. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, so what Abiodun has just said is very, very similar to my next line of question. So we talked about landing the internship already. So now let's talk about the company itself. So Abiodun has said some things about the tools he uses. But if I'm to ask, because I'm not sure everyone knows know these companies, so I'd like to ask Eniola, like, what does Benshi.ai do? Like, what does the company do generally?
Okay. So Benshi.ai is an AI company. So so like we are focused on AI for health.
Oh,
Yeah, that's the focus, strictly healthcare. So basically trying to build survival models. We do reinforcement learning as well, but like everything is focused towards healthcare.
revolving around
Yeah, healthcare. So everything is just about healthcare. Yeah, AI for
health.
health, basically.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Nice. I'm about yeah,
Is it turn?
yeah. It's your turn. What
Okay.
does Terragon do?
Yeah, so Terragon is a MarTech industry, that's marketing technology company that uses I would say AI to um, launch targeted to improve people's to improve businesses campaign performance. So the end goal is to make mobile experiences meaningful for Africans. So let me bring that down to what everyone can relate to. Now, I'm sure most of us here would have had experiences whereby you receive a text message asking you to come and, get a, for example, if you want to buy a new laptop and you see, get a MacBook Pro 2022 at 5K if you pay now, that kind of thing. I would most likely click on that, right? And how am I able to identify the people that are interested in that? Is through machine learning models. Based on a number of data points, we can infer what people are interested in, what the average African consumer would be interested in. And so we use this information to help companies improve their profitability and reduce marketing costs. I'm sounding like a marketer already, right?
Yeah.
Just using machine learning to get the right messages to the right people, if that makes any sense.
Okay. So like properly targeting your customers.
Yes, that's
Okay.
correct.
Yeah. So quickly, was there any because guys, you always hear you always hear this gist about data science or machine learning roles where you be like, oh, before landing the job, you were building CNNs and you were stacking and you were doing some crazy building some crazy models and all, and you were deploying and you were doing this. But then getting to the job, you figured probably just writing SQL all day and and that's it. So like
Yeah.
what was that expectation was really kind of was it different from what it will be, or like how was the experience initially?
Okay, for me, it does not actually apply to me. Like from start, it was basically I would say very similar to what I've been doing before, but just a bit advanced because like Benshi works with big data, so I had to learn PySpark on the job.
Yeah.
Yeah, Abiodun was having a discussion with me and it was like, Panda has not the work again. Like you have to you
Nah,
have to use PySpark or
it's
something.
back. Yeah.
I had to use PySpark. Yeah, then we still build like models, only that we don't make the model too advanced because like we need to deploy and do some other things. So like we just follow some strict metrics towards our goals. Yeah. So
Okay.
we still do the normal thing we do, the feature engineering. It's just that we will like for the features we built, like we just have to be able to explain them more technically on like for competitions whereby we just build for it to improve
Yeah,
the
I
models.
get.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So it was quite close to expectation.
Exactly.
Um, yeah. How about Abiodun?
Okay, so I'm very glad that I and Eniola are working in like two different, in a sense,
Yeah.
fields in data science. So he has more of the research exposure. But for me, Terragon is first a business before being a data science company. And when you get into the company, there is like a structure that you have to blend in to. So as far as flexibility on the kind of projects you can work um, on on goes, you may not really have a lot of control over that. So this doesn't mean that you can't do what you would like to do, but the end goal of the project you work on has to align with that of the company, which is why I wouldn't advise you, for example, you are interested in solving healthcare problems, then you start applying to companies that deal with maybe marketing. at the end of the day, you may get frustrated because you are not doing what you enjoy, So you build your products as well, right? And you have to take note of a number of things, timelines. You have to take note of deployment. You have to keep things simple so that your models don't break during production. And you have to think long term, because your question doesn't really, I mean, your building or your project doesn't end at, oh, I built a model, the accuracy is 98%, or the F1 score is really high. Things break. So you have to think about how you maintain models. It may not be you that will do it on the team. They're usually ML ops guys at DevOps that will help you to maintain your models, but you have to think about other things. It's not just as simple as you just building a model. And then you may be constrained with the tools you have to work with. For example, some teams might say, we only use Python, we don't really use R. And you have to collaborate most times, so you have to use Python. Or if teams only use R and they don't really use Python, then you can't really say you want to use Python. So those are some of the trade-offs that you might have to consider. But overall, if you apply to somewhere that you're interested in, your work won't really change. You will still most likely do what you've always done before. So yeah, I think that answers it.
All right, thanks. Okay, so to just for guys that are curious, like what tools are like tools that you only started working with when you started working at the company? So like tools that you feel like if you were not an intern, or if you were learning on your own, you won't have access to. Did you get my question?
Yeah, I got your question.
Yeah.
Before we move on to this question, can I quickly add something to what I was saying before, because I see some questions in the chat. So like some of the practical considerations is you may need to start using, maybe you didn't used to use functions in your code before. You may need to start using functions and define them properly so that you don't have to write everything over and over again. And then for computing, because most companies that don't have their servers on site and use use online or cloud resources like AWS, Microsoft Azure, and other solutions, there is a cost implication. You pay per compute or per memory you use. So if you scan, for example, if you're writing SQL codes and you scan like maybe 50 gig of data, maybe each gig costs about maybe $0.05 or something. So, using unnecessary for loops that can increase your running time, would not be the most effective. So you have to really refine your code and, really consider some more computer science technique, computer science, what's it called now? Computer science concepts, like all those time space complexities and all that, which is one of the questions I was asked by the CTO during my interview. So yeah, sorry I took us back a bit, and
no problem.
So let me just go first since I'm talking already.
Yeah.
So the tools that, can you recap a bit, please?
Yeah, so I was like asking for tools that you started using on the job and you feel like you probably won't have had access to if you were not interning there.
Okay. We add access to. Access to. Okay. So access is. So if I would say access, it's going to be where the data is stored. For example, AWS services. namely Athena, that's for running SQL codes. Athena uses Presto SQL to, if someone wants to take notes of the kind of SQL they should be paying attention to, that's fine. But it depends. I think it depends on knowing SQL is just enough, because the changes between Presto SQL or ANSI SQL, they are not really too overwhelming, and you can just adjust on the fly. So Athena, which uses Presto SQL, then for model deployment and model building is, sorry?
Yeah, no use.
Okay, model deployment, model building, there's we don't use Jupyter notebooks anymore. It's Amazon, sorry, AWS. Okay, the notebooks are inside AWS. It's not run on the local system anymore. So there is like, before you start model building, you spin up an instance. An instance will just create an environment where you can just it's like a portable environment, if I would say. So AWS SageMaker, and then also Snowflake's data lake for storing data as well. And then that's the things I now have access to, as well as a lot of other collaborative software, such as Jira for collaboration, Confluence for document management. And one thing I found interesting is we don't really use GitHub for codes anymore. The repository is not on there. It's actually on Bitbucket, if anyone wants to Google that. So it just depends on the team.
A different version control
Exactly, different VCS software. And I mean, one thing that has made the work a bit challenging is having to learn PySpark, because I mean, pandas would break if you are trying to load 500 gig of data, and it's not even videos or images, just tabular data, column, age, and it's 500 gig. It's really amazing. So having to learn PySpark is something huge. I mean, working with big data, you have to think about working with big data. So yeah, I think I will allow Eniola to add some things, or yeah.
Yeah, all right, Any.
I missed the question.
Okay, so I was asking about tools that you have access to, or you had access to at the company, and you feel like if you were still learning on your own, or if you weren't interning there, you probably won't have access to.
Okay, yeah, because of the data, like big data. So I use PySpark, and the platform in which we use it on is Databricks, Azure. Yeah, like Abiodun said, we have to like spin up instance also, but in our own case, it's called cluster. So we just start up the cluster, then connect the notebook you want to use to it, then just start writing your codes. Yeah, we don't use like pandas also, but you can switch actually, like you can infuse pandas in PySpark as well. Yeah, but it's basically PySpark code, so it will be fast and to not break. Yeah, that's mine.
Yeah, nice. Okay.
Can I
So
add something to
yeah, go ahead.
saying? So PySpark is Spark's API that can interface with Python. So what that means is you are basically just like writing SQL using Python. So I mean, if anyone wants some clarification on that for now, but I mean, it's something you can always do research on. So for the small models, you can spin up instances, but when you are actually, this is when you are doing EDA and you don't really need a lot of computing power, you can spin up instances. But when you are ready to actually do the predictions on millions of rows of data and you need significant computing resources, then you have to spin up clusters. They're called EC2, what's it called again? They're actually called clusters, as Eniola rightly said. Yeah. So that's it.
All right, all right. Okay, so we're slowly rounding up, and you guys should already start gathering your questions. I can see questions already in the comment section. Yeah, so okay, so for sure, this experience, your internship has like that's I mean in a very very significant way increase your growth and development. And yeah, I think it's evident from even the tools that you use and the way you think about problems now. Okay, so but just to round up, what's a typical day for you like at work? Say a day in your life, because developers like you fantasize and you be like, oh
You,
no,
you read my mind. You read my. I'm thinking maybe you should watch my YouTube channel. I'm thinking of putting a day in the life of a Nigerian data
data
scientist.
scientist. Yeah. So like
So,
what's a typical day for you like?
okay. I think it would be easier to answer. Okay, a typical day. So a typical day in the morning is for me is get up, uh, put some bread and toast, make coffee, go to the gym by 5 a.m. I'm just kidding. So a typical day is is not different from how things were before. That's on the personal side. And so on the business side, when you get up, you go to work, and if it's a Monday, you generally start the day with stand-up meetings. Josiah, yeah, with stand-up meetings. So stand-up meetings are just like meetings. What problem is the business having, and how should we be looking to solve it? So from there, roles, tasks. It's basically like a brainstorming session. And from there, um, your tasks are assigned to people, and that's where you determine who is going to be working on what. So after those meetings are given or are distributed, after the responsibilities are distributed, then you start to look at you can start to sync up with other people that you need things from. For example, if you need access to maybe a database or permissions to be able to maybe investigate something, then you start reaching out to other people that please, I need to do this job and I'll need you to grant me access. And so that's like typically on Mondays. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, you are left I'm mostly left to work alone. Oh, Tuesdays are mostly left to work alone and attend to other urgent requests that might come. Wednesdays is basically like a project update. So if you have any blockers based on your Monday tasks, you can talk about it and the team can brainstorm on how you can move forward. Then Friday is typically like a report. You have to give a report of how far you have come, and you most likely share your screen and just demonstrate what you have done so far to the team. So I think I would divide the work I do into three. I would divide the work I do into three sections. There is the ad hoc work. That's just okay, the company wants to quickly market to these people. Can you quickly do some EDA on this data and give us some insights? That's like impromptu requests. And there is also like the medium kind of projects that you are working on. And there's also those usually span like 2 months. And there's like the maybe like 6 months to 1 year kind of projects. So your projects will be defined, will be distributed, or will be split into all these three aspects, and so you'll be working on different projects simultaneously. And yeah, so I think that's what I would say. And yeah, there are also fun activities as well. So you don't have to keep on coding for 10 hours, 7 days a week, or 5 days a week, as the case may be. All right.
Okay, so for my own case,
All right, nice. Any, you can go ahead.
yeah, for my own case, mine is a bit flexible because I'm still schooling. I'm in my final year, University of Lagos engineering student. So like there's a whole lot of work in school already, not to talk of to now add like an extra load from work. So like the bargain with Benshi was that I'm going to be working 2-3 hours per day. Even sometime is not up to that. It depends on the work on ground actually. So I have a reporting manager, I have somebody I report to. So when the tax is splitted, so like I'm giving my own tax. So a typical day is just okay, we work with foundation. So let's say there's a particular problem to solve because like we have this agreement, so I'm not supposed to say some things out actually. So let's say there's a problem, yeah. So let's say there's a problem to solve. Okay, so they'll be like, Eniola, can you do the feature engineering for this task? So I just sit with it, do some feature engineering, and if possible, also just like test a baseline model. So mostly we usually use survival models. I actually have a video on YouTube explaining survival model. So survival model is actually different from a typical model because in survival model, we are always like focused on two targets, the event and the time to event. So let me just give a simple scenario here. So let's say I want to predict if a person will have cancer or not. So we are not just focused on the event, which is cancer. We'll be focused on the time to event. That's the time to which the person we maybe let's say it's death. We want to look at the person died from the particular disease or not. So we are focusing on the time and the event. That's two targets, unlike normal model. So we actually use survival model for most of our tasks and other kind of model. Yeah, so maybe just build the model, test some features, check the features are doing well, iterate over it again, and maybe some research tasks. So I wrote a paper with them once, yeah. So we do a lot of research work also because our focus is actually on like underrepresented countries. So countries like India, Indonesia. We are even doing some things with Nigeria also and that kind of stuff. Yeah. Gracias.
Yeah, sleeping in Spanish.
Nice one.
Sleep. All right, nice. So, no doubt you guys are actually doing awesome stuff. I know. So yeah. I've exhausted my questions. I hope I was able to cover like the key aspect of everything. Yeah, just the final one. I know I said final is say you have you want to one advice you can give um, to guys who are just starting out or guys who just want to start applying or guys who feel like they don't know enough yet. So like, what's your final advice for guys like that? Should I go with any first? Yeah, I'll go with any.
Okay, so my advice would be just throw yourself out there. Never can tell what will happen. Just continue pushing. Just apply, even if you don't meet the requirements. Just continue pushing yourself out there and you would see the difference. Yeah. Muchas gracias.
Yeah. It's all right. We'll soon host a Spanish session for guys in Nigeria, the Spanish version of the event. Okay, but then
And actually also, you can take advantage of Zindi, the competition platform. It actually helped me a lot in like just pushing me out. Yeah. So I do a lot of competitions. Paul also do a lot of competition. He recently hijacked. He hijacked.
I jacked Mojak from you
Said
guys.
Yeah, we did the Mojang together. So like,
Yeah, it
I think you
happens.
placed second place, yeah, in the
Yeah,
intermediate.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so just participate in competitions. There are some free internship as well. Although most time I don't advise, not that I don't advise the free internships. They'll help you learn though, but some of them just are like a burden sometimes. Just pick them up, maybe gather one or two just to get the experience. I think there's this guys, Amoye. I
Yeah,
think
Muye.
yeah, you can check Amoye out. Amoye are good guys actually. Then there's one Omdina AI. So I think
Yeah,
Omdina would say like they'll push you to do a reward project or something. I've not actually done anything with them, but I know some guys actually speak good about them. So just push yourself out there, look at what is going on, and I think you'll be fine. Yeah.
yeah. Thank you very much, Tenny. Abiodun.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm having so much fun in chat. What I would like to say to I would like to add to Eniola, what Eniola talked about Hamoy, that would really, I think we really inspire people here is that so I started at Terragon in January, and there were two of us. There are currently two of us that are interning in the team right now. So the lady I work with, her story is quite different. I initially thought I was the only one because it was separate interviews. But when I got to the team and I realized that they had her as well, and I asked her how the internship was. I mean, I had to put myself like forward at the event, but she was reached. I mean, the team at Terragon actually reached out to her on LinkedIn
Whoa.
that they would like her to like work in the team, and I think she just finished her Moi internship. So I think she actually did really well in that internship. So that was what really helped her to get the role. So Amoy internship is really a good one, and there are a number of ones around. So what you just want to look out for is just look out for, I mean, free is good, but free will help you learn, but try to avoid companies that stress you. There are a lot of the thing about companies, maybe there's something about data science companies in Nigeria that they are just looking for slave labor. You don't want to do that. As much as you don't want to be materialistic, you want to learn, but as well, you also want to be compensated and be treated like a human being. So yeah, that's one thing to watch out for. Advice, as far as advice goes, uh so I think I'll say this first. Some people are asking for my Twitter, so I just dropped something in the chat, but I sent the correct one to Paul, so he would share that later. And
Yeah,
LinkedIn,
yeah.
I have
I'll
LinkedIn
drop
as
their
well.
tweet. I'll
So
drop their
don't be
Twitter and
scared.
link.
Okay, don't be scared if all you find on my Twitter is just NFTs. It's a new account. But if you text me, I will definitely find time to reply you. So as far as advice goes, is you are working in a you are working in a team, and as much as possible, try to ask for help. Don't be like me. Don't suffer in silence. Nobody is going to. You're already in the company. Nobody can send you out again. Well, but like, don't be scared to ask for help. Don't suffer in silence. They give you a task, you are not comfortable with working with it. Well, maybe I'm saying this because Terragon is different, the work environment is accommodating, but like, you have the opportunity to speak your mind in a reasonable way. Just give reasons why, okay, why you do not feel that this is the best task for you to be working on at this time. Or if you have any other approaches, just make your case in a structured and polite manner. People are not really going to. The fact that you're even there in the first place shows that you have something that they want. So that can help with imposter syndrome. You belong. Always remind yourself you belong. Maybe you need to paste it somewhere in your room every day when you wake up. I belong. I deserve to be here. Do some self-affirmation and stuff. But don't suffer in silence. If you have any problem, I don't know the equivalent of group, I think group buy. There's group buy in PySpark, right? Yeah. I don't know the equivalent of group buy in PySpark, and I want to group these rows. I want to do some time series, whatever. Ask your teammate or go on Google first. I mean, you think that people don't use Google anymore, but like I think using Google is becoming a skill, you know. So don't forget, don't be afraid to ask for help, and don't be proud, I guess, but also know your stuff as well. Don't stop learning. You know, you can get overwhelmed with work and you don't have time to learn. Try to take some time every day to keep on learning. That's even before getting an internship and after getting an internship. And that data camp subscription, please take advantage of it. It has, in the past 3 months, it has changed my life. I know what I'm saying. So please do not let it slip, please. We are closing, right? So we'd just like to thank you guys here for being here to listen, and wish you the best in your journey. Should I speak French? Because I can speak French as well.
Okay.
French,
Yeah, flex.
no, let me leave it. Let me leave it. Let me leave it. So, bon, if you insiste, je vous heureuse que vous êtes ici. J'espère que vous voulez travailler, vous voulez trouver le travail. Okay.
Sounds like trouble.
All right. Anyway, so please, sorry, you were about to say something.
No, I was like, who's going to help us confirm?
All I just said, all I said is I am happy that you're here, and I hope that after today you can find work. So just leave it at that. But anyway, advice. The most important thing is imposter syndrome. I think even more than you doing projects. Okay, as far as doing projects go, try to create a presence online. It may be maybe having a page on GitHub that just shows your work, and just create a presence online. You know, people want to relate with you. They want to know that this person is a human being. They don't want to hire Ghost of Sparta or maybe Cristiano Ronaldo from Adamawa or something. They want to be able to put a name to the face, you know. So try to publish your project and deal with that imposter syndrome, you know, because it's a very serious, you see, I'm emphasizing it anyway. Yeah, so yeah, I think that's everything. Thanks to DSN, thanks to Dr. Bayo. So thanks to Eniola as well. I remember seeing him at the camp. I mean, I can confirm what Paul is saying. All those top leaderboard, I think it was second or was it first that time? So and I watched a couple of his videos to really. I mean, he knows
YouTube.
Yeah. So
okay. So guys, subscribe to Eniola on YouTube. Eniola,
I think I'll start a Spanish channel, so instead of
I'll be interested.
Yeah, so the data camp subscription, I see guys already clamoring for it in the chat section. I'm going to be sharing the link again. So please take advantage of that. And if you be enrolling for the data camp thing, you should know that you want to be serious about it, because data camp last year they gave this same free subscription, but a lot of guys didn't use it. So we are very particular about you using this free subscription. So yeah, I've just sent it to the group again. And lastly, I talked about deep learning in Naba. So deep learning in Naba is happening in August and is happening in Tunisia. And it is very possible for you to get full sponsorship for travel and accommodation. So you just have to apply and put out your best application and see what comes out of it. So I'm going to be sharing with you the link also in the chat section. And application closes on Friday. So yeah, just shoot your shot like any told us earlier in the meeting. So yeah, that's it. If you have any other questions, I'd like to take them now before we round up finally. I know I saw one Benedict guy that was dropping a lot of questions here. Is it still on? Yeah, no questions, no questions, no questions. Okay. Okay, I guess it's a very okay. Eniola's YouTube channel. Eniola will be dropping the link now. So just to round up, quick, I should have announced giveaway from the beginning, but then okay, my questions have been addressed. Okay, Benedict. If you can, so quick giveaway, you guys should follow our channel. I'm sorry, I say channel, Eniola YouTube, don't enter my head. Follow us on Twitter and follow us on Instagram. The handle is already displayed, and if I get the person who can best summarize today's event on Twitter gets a reward. Yeah, so also tag me. The person who can best summarize the event gets a reward. Tag me and tag the two speakers. And I'm going to be announcing the winners before evening or tomorrow morning. So guys, thank you for joining. Okay, someone is saying DSN OAU application form. There's not an application form, but for guys that fill the registration form, I'm going to be reaching out to everyone who indicated interest in joining the community. But for this guy specifically, for Husseini Sikaraya, can you send me a message on WhatsApp like now so that I don't forget? Yeah, so send me a message on WhatsApp, and everyone that also indicated interest in the registration form, you get a message from me. So guys, thanks for joining in, and yeah, see you in the next one, because we're going to be having very awesome conversations like this in future, and they're going to be coming regularly. And we're going to be having very amazing speakers like just like this one. So thanks for joining in. I really appreciate. Don't forget to shoot your shots. And yeah, thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.